A very dear friend of mine who is quite wealthy once made the statement. He said, I was asked, when did you get interested in money? And he looked back at the questioner and said, when I didn't have any. So maybe some of you listening to this brief devotion this morning, you're at a point where you feel like you're appointed, you have a dream, you have a goal, you have things you need personally, as well as answering the call of God on your life. You're appointed and got all this in you, but you're not yet supplied. So what do we do now? Well, God always prepares his leaders. Now, here's the tricky thing. Some of us are in preparation a little longer than others. I think that's called a gestation period in the world of giving birth to the offspring of a family or animal kingdom do the same thing. But again, each one of us is trained differently, and it depends on the work to which he or she is called to do or feels a passion inside about some of those things. But preparation actually means to make ready for a special purpose, to make suitable, to fit, to adapt, to train, to equip, to furnish, all of those things. And we could go on and on with those descriptive words. But if you're in preparation longer than another person, don't despair because your preparation period won't be the same length of time as another person, even if it's in the same field. Some of us have specialties that we are trained longer. And of course, life is a lifelong learning process. It doesn't mean you have less ability. It doesn't mean that you're not as smart or maybe not as charismatic, not as called, too old, too young. All of those things that are objections come floating through our mind. It only means that your assignment requires a different amount of training. That's all it is. Maybe you've not found your assignment yet. Maybe you know some things you would do if the provision was there. But let's remember this powerful truth that being appointed is not the same as being immediately supplied. Just because we've been called or chosen doesn't mean everything's going to be there overnight. I know that, you know that, we all know that. It does mean, though, that God has a plan. And he is faithful to complete what he started. He's always been that way. In the waiting, there is some shaping that goes on, and in the lack, there is some learning that we have that goes on. And in the silence, oh, God forbid the silence, but we do have it, there is strengthening that appears in our life. Now, don't confuse delay with denial. If God appointed you, he's going to supply you. It's going to be in his perfect timing. So stay faithful, stay prepared, keep your heart open, keep your spirit willing, because the one that appointed you is also the one that's going to equip and empower you. Yeah, it's an empowering. Equip the saints for the work of the ministry, is the way the New Testament writer described it. Your season of supply is on the way, and when it comes, you're going to be ready, not just to receive, but to steward that what God has placed in your hands. Well, stewardship is something that God has really been ringing in my heart of late, and you'll hear me use that word a lot. A lot of the things we do with our life is stewardship. I can't find an area where stewardship is not significant, whether it has to do with physical health, finances, job, career, vision, dream, all of the above. Family, be a good steward over what you have to close this out because time is a constraint in the early morning hours. But thank you for listening. Remember, no one succeeds alone. And to God be the glory. We will talk again soon. God bless you.